All right, team. I just love that we have these calls bi-weekly and get to just connect virtually. And tonight is really, really exciting. As I promised that we were going to start having some guest speakers and trainers come, some amazing leaders. And I couldn't think of anyone else better than to kick it off with ERVP. Stacy Woodford, who is such a good friend of mine and leader, and we're just so grateful for you, Stacy. And so what I had asked Stacy to talk about tonight is about, about belief, because I think that no matter where you are in your journey or how long you've been doing Arvon, like this is the foundation of what we do. So, I had asked her to share a little bit about belief, and then she's going to share a little bit about setting up our calendars and setting up our month every month for success, because once you have that belief, you got to put it into action. So Stacy, we're going to just kind of do like a little Q&A back and forth a little bit to keep it a little interaction. So my first question for you about belief is, what does it mean to have belief, overall, ultimately, and how important is it to have it?
Well, first of all, thanks, Monet, for having me on tonight. I just love and adore you, and you're such an awesome leader to your team. And I know there's just only amazing, great things ahead for you, all of you guys. And the first thing that came to mind when you asked me that, or when I read that question, was trust the process. That's the first thing that came to mind when you said, what does belief mean to you? I think it's easy to come into the business and we start to doubt and we start to question, and we can get discouraged. And to me, it always comes back to just trusting the process, trusting God and trusting the process, and just staying the course.
I love that. So when was a time in your business where, maybe you lost a lot of belief, and how did that affect your business? And then how did you pull yourself out of that?
Sure. There's been many times when I've felt doubtful about myself, or was just feeling down about my business, or, needed a checkup from the neck up. My negative head trash going on. But I think it just comes back to knowing that this business is a gift, and when you make it not an option, then you're going to close all the doors. You're going to, close any cracks in your belief. And there's definitely times when I've questioned, is this business for me? Can I really do this? Can I be successful? And anytime I've experienced those like doubtful kind of feelings, I always come back to, what, God opened this door for me. I'm going to stay the course. And, I think we just have to, it's like faith, we don't really know when the exact outcome of your huge goal is going to happen, but you have to just keep your head in the game and stay consistent, stay in activity, and trust the process. And I think for me, how it's shown up in different ways. One of the ways that I can think of is just kind of like a paralysis, like, analysis paralysis, or, I don't know who to talk to, or I feel like doubting my leadership, or doubting that people want to follow me, or and can just get down on myself. And I find that whenever I have gotten in that space of just focusing on me, for a long time, I didn't get that was just really prideful and egotistical. It might sound crazy, but it really is. When all we're focusing on is what's not happening, or what we're not doing, or how you don't think you're not good enough. It's all like me focused. And so what I do in that kind of a situation, or I have done in the past, is turn it around. Who can you help? Who can you serve? Get out of your house, go help someone. I find when I get the focus off of myself, then I'm not able to compare myself or be down about myself. And trust me, there's been plenty of times that I have doubted myself and compared myself and felt defeated in different ways at different times in my business. But that's why I am here still today, 15 years later. And I'm so blessed to have the business that I have, is because I just didn't give up. I just kept going.
Thanks, Stacy. I love that. It's so true. Like, we do get so, I mean, all of us, right? Like, we get so caught up in, our own heads, and why aren't people wanting this? Why are they ignoring me? And if we place all our focus and energy on that, then like, we're not going to get very far.
No, we're not. It's like, why, if you only focus on the no, you're not, I don't know. If you just focus on the negative part of your business and not see the positive part, there's so much more great about this business than there is the hard stuff. Because there's definitely, discomfort of putting yourself out there and, the rejection and stuff. But I remember hearing a top leader say that rejection is God's protection. And I know we don't always want to hear that when something stings and burns and hurts and, makes you want to crawl up in a ball. And, but I say, if you want to quit, just quit for like an hour, or just quit, but just pick yourself back up. And because you've got to be determined that your reasons and your why is worth it. And you can do this.
I love that. So, I know we get this throughout our journey, but I think especially when we dive into a profession like this, when we're new, I know I personally experienced it, because I think right out of the gates, we are hit with people that don't support us. And oftentimes it can be, a spouse, or it could be, a family member or our best friend that just, kind of look at us like, you have two heads and you're crazy for doing something like this, because it's not the traditional way. So how have you, I know your story, and I have, a lot of my team is within their 90 days or just out of the 90-day mark of starting their Arbonne businesses. And, we can be facing that kind of lack of support or rejection or negativity that really, like, more than anything, gets to your core about the belief about this business and this profession. So how have you personally worked through that yourself and stayed so strong through it all?
Well, number one, personal growth. I have been committed right from the beginning. At first, I actually can tell you, I admit I did not get personal growth. I thought, oh, I'm a positive person, I don't need to read books. I mean, I was so wrong and so ignorant. And but once I started reading books, I realized how little that I knew. And it's not that I thought I knew everything. I didn't really get the concept of developing myself. And I decided to treat this like a business and take it seriously. And what I mean by that is, my upline recommended to me, if you want to grow a business in this industry, you've got to become a professional in it and treat it like a profession. And so what do people do? They become experts in their profession. So I started reading books on network marketing, and I started reading books on leadership. And because of those two things, my belief just started to grow and grow and grow. And I started to think, my gosh, this is such a great idea. This is amazing. Why, I want to tell people about this. It's so awesome. And I started sharing my excitement with people about what it was going to do for my family and how it could help them too. And so, are you committed to growing yourself? And because I think so often when people start the business, they don't make the connection, because I didn't at first, the connection that people are attracted to who you are. And we've got to become the type of person that people are drawn to and attracted to. And that happens through growing ourselves and developing ourselves to be the kind of leader that people want to follow. And so, am I answering your question? So personal growth is, pivotal for me.
And how have you worked through, like, other than books, like I'm personally not a big reader, as much as I have become a better reader since starting Arbonne. That's a personal growth for me. But is there any other ways that you think of, that you've grown, like when you've just been faced with that negativity, like were there affirmations that you would tell yourself or?
Absolutely. Every day I get up like an hour and a half before my family wakes up. So for me, that's like the minimum amount of time I need by myself to spend time alone with God, to read the Bible. To me, my faith is the most important thing. To speak those positive affirmations and words about myself. It takes that much time for me every day to get my head in the right mindset. So I would say it's like a commitment to my growth and development. And, I wasn't that way at the very beginning, but, I was always told that leaders are readers. And I was somebody that always hated to read. I grew up watching my mom and dad read books, and I thought they were crazy. And I was like, I'm never going to read books. And, here I am, a business owner 15 years in, and I definitely read books. And I believe it's different to read it than it is to listen to it. And I definitely listen to books. I listen to podcasts. I listen to stuff constantly. But there's something different about reading a book and with the whole mindset that you're going to teach what you've just read. And you're reading it from a different perspective, knowing that you're going to help somebody else from reading that book. So you're going to underline, you're going to pay attention. It's a different kind of learning. So, and you were mentioning about family and people that are negative. And I feel like it can often be your family and friends that might be the biggest naysayers. And I remember my husband saying to me, don't talk to my friends. And, don't talk to anybody that I work with, and don't talk to my friends. And I remember just like that crushing me when I started my business, because I thought, my gosh, he just is like being so negative about what I'm doing. And I just knew in my heart that he didn't get it. But in order for him to get it, I just had to treat it like a business. And that's not, doesn't have to be full-time hours. I don't mean that. I just mean taking it seriously. If you have 10 hours a week, 5 hours a week, whatever, work those hours to the best of your ability to do things that are income producing activities. And income producing is the most important. I don't get paid to get up early and read my book, but that is stuff I do on off hours, not on the times that I can be doing income producing activities and sharing Arbonne with people.
I love that. I really love, like, what you just said about what you read too, like, and how you reteach that, and then being consistent, like it's not just, like you said, taking it seriously, and it's not just being all about Arbonne one week and then the next week you just don't do anything in your business. I think that's a skill that you learn over time to be consistent in our journey, and treating it, because you don't show up to work one day and then show up, and don't show up the other 4 days of the week. Right. Well,
I think it comes down to, what do you really want? It's the pain of discipline versus the pain of regret. And, I didn't want to regret doing this and how it was going to help my family. And, there's a price to pay no matter what. You just have to decide if, it's worth it for you. And when the outcome is, there's no comparison to what my future could look like without Arbonne. There's no comparison. I was willing to push through the pain and the discomfort of putting myself out there. And the other thing is, it gets easier as you do it. As you do Arbonne, It's like learning anything new. You get better at it. You get
Mm-hmm.
better at it. Your skills develop. You get more confident in yourself, as you're doing personal growth. I mean, if you haven't started doing personal growth yet, start by just listening in your car when you're going places. Make your car a rolling university. Listen to podcasts, listen to books. That's a great way to get yourself started. You can, while you're getting ready for work or folding laundry, cooking dinner, whatever. I think people don't realize the amount of time you do have that you could listen to things.
Mm-hmm.
And then reading a book is just like adding a new discipline in your life. I mean, you could start out by reading 10 pages at nighttime. That could be a new discipline for you before you go to bed. And you'll start stretching it, longer as you go. But these are little things that they're little tiny shifts that make all the difference.
Thank you, Stacy. I know we have a few minutes left, and you had mentioned, you had touched on doing things that are income producing activity. And so what does that look like on a calendar for you and your business? How do you map that out? When do you map that out?
Yeah, I mean, I built my business doing events, group presentations and one-on-ones. That's what I've done. And now with the virtual aspect, I do a lot of virtual stuff. Like you'll see me posting. Mm-hmm. I like to support my team through doing virtual events as well and offering that for my team. But, when I started my Arbonne business, I was taught a system called 6 for Success. And it was, start your business with a couple events, and which I still do this today, and ask some friends to get a few friends together. And that was how I kicked off my business. And so I would tell you right now, if you don't have anybody on your team yet, you need to start doing events. You need to start filling your calendar with events and asking people to host for you. And I don't use the word host. I just, ask people for help or a favor, and ask them if they'd be willing to get a few friends together. Tell them why you're doing Arbonne. And, everybody's not going to say yes to you. You're going to get no's, definitely. So the people that say no, have a backup date on your calendar so that they, no big deal. You don't want to host, no big deal. I'm actually having a little get together at my place on this date. But the reason I say that is because I always start new people on my team with events. I have them do 2 or 3 dates to kick off their business. And so the way I've built my business is I always am talking about the whole Arbonne story when I tell people about Arbonne. I don't just talk about the products. I talk about all of it. I share that there's a way to make income if they're looking for additional income, or who do you know that's looking for additional income. If you're just talking about the products, you're not going to grow a team, and you're not going to leverage your time, and you're not going to make the residual income. Mm-hmm. So the question is, what do you really want out of Arbonne? If you want to make, some extra cash selling products, that's totally okay. But if your goal and your dream is to build income that grows over time and becomes residual income, the kind that pays you over and over again, that's an asset for your family, then ask yourself, are you telling the whole Arbonne story? So when you do that one-on-one coffee appointment, income producing activities are doing things like inviting someone, asking someone to take a look, asking someone to host, sharing, doing a group event. I don't know if you guys are using that daily method of success sheet that I have posted on the page, but that is a perfect way to get yourself just focused on what it is that I need to do. And I feel like, and I felt like this at times in my business where I'm like, I don't even know what to do right now. And then it's like, wait a minute, I do know what to do. I just got to be focused. That's the problem. Mm-hmm. So keeping focused, and that sheet helps you to stay focused. So, if you're just thinking about Arbonne, you're not doing Arbonne. So if you have an hour to do Arbonne, make it income producing. Get together with someone for coffee, get on your phone, text people, invite people, set up appointments. Those are all things that are going to generate income for you.
Wow. Thank you so much, Stacy, for pouring into us. We really just value your training, your just experience in Arbonne and how you are able to just share and pour into us. We just really thank you for that. So I know
you're welcome anytime. I love you guys. Are there any questions? I have a few more minutes. Are there any questions from anybody that I didn't answer? I just want you guys to know that you're not alone in this. Like, the only difference between you and I is just I just kept going. I just kept asking people to take a look and sharing Arbonne with people over and over and over again. I just didn't stop. And I think that people quit before payday. They quit before it turns into something that they want it to be. They let the no's defeat them. So if I could challenge you with anything right now, that would be get 100 no's as fast as you can. Because as you're getting the no's, you're going to get a lot of yeses too. There's a book called Go for No. I remember reading that going, oh, no isn't that bad, right? No's not bad. I'm going to get a lot of those along the way. I still get a lot of no's, you guys. Mm-hmm. I still get a lot of no's. I still get rejection. It's just part of it. And I think we just have to develop the ability to hear the no and not be emotionally shut down by it. That's what personal growth helps you to do, is to be like, okay, it's not for them, but we need to say things like, whoever I'm looking for is looking for me. Mm. And just staying positive and looking ahead and being grateful for what you do have.
Thank you, Stacy. Mm-hmm. Does anyone have any questions? Michelle, Jackie?
No, ma'am. Thank you so much for your time.
You're welcome.
Sorry, I had to get the unmute. Thank you, Stacy.
You're great. Nice having you guys on tonight. I hope you guys were able to get even one nugget for you to help you.
What was that book that you said? The No book?
Go for No.
Go for
No. I think I need to read that.
Hey, we all need to read it. We all need to read it. And if you haven't read the book, Dare to Dream, Work to Win by Dr. Tom Barrett, highly, highly recommend it. I've read it multiple times. I recommend it to everybody new in the business because it's so encouraging and helps you to understand. You guys, you can't evaluate where you're at in your business. Like, you've got to give this at least a year. You got to give it at least a year of just sticking with it and, reinvesting too into your business. You need the products. You need to be using the products, and we've got to be a product of the product and love our brand and, doing things like buying books when it's recommended or going to events. Those are all reinvesting in your business, and reinvesting pays off.
Thank you so much, Stacy. Really appreciate your time and your leadership. Thank you.
You're welcome. Love you, Monet. Have a good night, guys.
You too. Bye.